Right. You know, I never knew that that was a problem. I bet a lot of other people out there didn't know that that was an issue. So how do you figure out where your services are needed? I mean, because that seems like something that I'm sure you don't just stumble across. I mean, do people come to you and say, this is an issue that I'm dealing with, or how do you figure out where you're needed?
Well, one of the things is that we now have a staff of fairly experienced attorneys who are well respected by members of the bench and the bar. And what happens is they see recurrent problems coming up. And when you have an experienced attorney who handles these problems on a daily basis, it's like, what can we do to resolve this problem so that we're not chipping away at it person by person? But if it's a problem that a lot of people are experiencing, how can we go about that? The other thing, in terms of changing it, the other thing is we've discovered we're much stronger in collaboration with people instead of acting independently. In the last 5 or 6 years, we've built our alliances with other organizations, nonprofits, the state of Nebraska, who are all working towards a similar goal, so that we're not duplicating the service. We're all playing to our strengths to come up with a whole package.
Right.
And in addition to that, there are 2 other ways we get information about what people need. I mentioned earlier that we did a legal needs assessment. This is a statewide needs assessment that Legal Aid of Nebraska performed, where we went out and asked people, what are the big barriers affecting you in your day-to-day lives? Now, a lot of times when you ask someone, what are your legal needs, they say, well, gosh, I don't really have any legal needs. Okay, what are your needs? Well, I'm having housing problems, insurance problems, medical problems, and they don't know that their barriers are legal needs and that there may be a legal solution to them. Now, there aren't legal solutions to every problem, but there are to a lot of problems. So what we did is we went out to the entire state, we did phone surveys, we did focus groups where we actually met with different groups of people, and we asked them questions about their day-to-day lives and what they need. And we compiled all that to our legal needs assessment, which you can access on our website, which is legalaidofnebraska.com or nebls.com, depending on how you want to do it.
And you have a little welcome video clip there, I saw it, so it's a great website.
Exactly, thank you. And that's another key way. Also, I mentioned earlier we have a statewide toll-free hotline number. We get anywhere between 30 and 40,000 calls a year from across Nebraska, and we really get a sense of what the needs are, and that's how we found out a lot of this stuff about the homestead exemption, about the needs of families who've been, where their fathers have been separated from the family, and all sorts of other issues, needs of the elderly, education needs, and all those kinds of things. So we've got a lot of input, and our challenge is prioritizing and making sure that we're serving the most people possible given the resources we have. And we're hoping to increase our resources as we move into our bar campaign this year. We'll be asking private attorneys to help support legal aid.
Good, good. You know, a lot of people like to hear the personal stories, the stories of how what work you've done have directly impacted people, and those stories of people that are maybe between a rock and a hard place, and you guys swoop in and save them. But you have lots of those stories, don't you?
Sure.
I think we do. I think we do.
Yeah, I mean, I could give an example of one case that I did recently. My client was a woman whose son was born disabled, all sorts of medical conditions, and everything was fine because he was a child and a minor, so she was able to have a say over the direction of his medical care and his education. But when he became the age of majority, everyone started telling her, hey, you can't do anything for your son anymore because he's in the age of majority, so he makes his own decisions. But the fact is, he was borderline intellectual functioning, he had all sorts of medical problems. He wasn't able to do things on his own, and that created a huge problem where he was kind of left to make decisions, and a lot of those were not the right decisions. So I was able to work with her to get her as the guardian over him. And it was a fairly simple legal process, but she wasn't able to do it on her own because she didn't have things like transportation and understanding of the legal system. And just through some basic steps, we were able to get her guardianship over her now adult son, and that's helped his development, his education, his medical care. That's just a small case, but it made a big difference in someone's life.
One of our attorneys recently helped a woman get her nursing license. And as a young woman, she had, I think, committed some petty offenses. But then she got on her feet. She was doing the right thing. She went to school, to learn how to become a medical technician or a licensed practical nurse. And after she got done with the schooling, she found that she couldn't practice because of what had happened in her history. And our attorney was able to convince the nursing board of the state of Nebraska that, look, this is what we want to have happen. We want people to be able to get past their mistakes and be self-sufficient. And here was somebody who was trying to work, support her family, do everything that we value as a society, and then she hit that roadblock. And the nursing board agreed, and they reinstated her license, and that's what she's doing. She's working full-time, she's supporting her family. And that's what we all want to see.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, very rewarding job that you have, don't you think?
It is.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it in for anything else.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Now you have offices all across the state.
That's correct. We actually have 7 offices. We're obviously in Omaha, and in Omaha is where our administrative offices are, and our Omaha office, and our access line, which is that toll-free hotline number that's staffed by attorneys and paralegals. We have offices in Lincoln, Bancroft, Grand Island, Norfolk, North Platte, and Scotts Bluff. So we really stretch from one end of the state to the other. And we actually are able to serve the entire state through partnering not only with our own offices, but with private attorneys in places that are so far away from our offices that we can't get to them. It's our private attorney involvement program. These are private attorneys who are willing to take cases at a rate of just $50 an hour. These are, again, folks with domestic violence issues and other like divorce and custody issues. They're taking those cases on virtually pro bono to provide those services in areas that we can't reach. So it's a really great program, and we really thank those attorneys for helping us out.
Absolutely. Well, we're all out of time. Went by so quick. We appreciate both of you coming on the show. And,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
and we really appreciate the work that you're doing for the state of Nebraska. So good luck in all your endeavors.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.
And for more information, you can log on to www.nebls.com or call 348-1060 or toll free at 877-250-2016. We do have to take a short break, but after the break, State Senator Bob Ashford will join us to continue on this topic. Stay with us.